Every day in school we were taught about it. Films on TV, films in the cinema theaters. So of course, this bestiality, if you want to call it that, of this aggressive war power of Germany, it was very prevalent when I grew up, and especially had it been for my parents. So these images of war from both the First World War and the Second World War were very, very prevalent in Sweden, and we were indirectly part of the war. So this of course creates a certain way of looking at man. Like I was mentioning Orozco's The Conqueror. Well, Orozco is looking back at the conquistadors, right? But he has a kind of a fascination for the war at the same time. I, who grew up 20 years after the war, I looked back at the English and the German and the American soldiers that I constantly saw pictures of, and created a strange fascination for the war. So I think that especially as boys, we have a strange paradox of emotions inside of us. We are both inspired and fascinated by war. All young boys want to be soldiers, right? And then at the same time, your intelligence tells you that war is something horrible, it's something that must be shunned and rejected. So, and this creates grief. It creates a strange paradox of feelings, and which I can see in the work of the Mexican muralists. That's why they speak to me so much. And so, my paintings in the port of Trelleborg are echoing these strange, paradoxal feelings. Unfortunately, that short period of National Socialism in Germany has colored the whole world's impression of Germany. Germany has been the most wonderful cultural country in the world. Now I think that Mexico holds that position. But before the Nazi regime, you had very interesting movements of art, especially the early expressionists, like Louis Corinth, for example, was a fantastic painter. And he had the same sentiment as the Mexican muralists. Also Die Brücke, this more extreme kind of expressionistic way of treating color and brushwork. And then you had Käthe Kollwitz, for example, who was a fantastic socialist artist, who, like for example Orozco, conveys a great sense of darkness. And something that is similar for these three German artists is the fascination of death. Always in Germany, you say that death is a man from Germany. But I think you can say the brother of death or the wife of death is a woman from Mexico. And having spent the Day of the Dead in Oaxaca, what place in the world is more absorbed or obsessed with the thought of death? So I think that if the obsession with death in Germany, which was prevalent in the work of the Expressionists, if that is a part of the past, today it is extremely, or more than ever, prevalent in Mexican culture. So here again I have a #2 love for Mexico. It's not only the sentiment that I talked about prevalent in the work of the muralists, but it's also this wonderful culture of death that fascinates me. Well, it's the painter Louis Corinth, who was a wonderful painter belonging to the Weimar Republic, the social democratic government of Germany. And I think that they found in him, as did the American government in the abstract expressionists, a new way of looking at the human being, a new way of treating paint and brushwork that was aligned with society as it was. And I cannot emphasize enough the horrible consequences of the Nazi regime, because they forbid all of that. So if we hadn't had that 15-year period of dictatorship in Germany, I think that the wonderful artist movements that were prevalent before in the Weimar Republic would have naturally become the major part of the European artistic tradition. In Mexico, it was never interrupted. So for me, when I come back here, I feel that what I'm interested in, especially the work of Louis Corinth, Kokoschka, Hodler, for example, it is alive here. Or at least I feel that it's treated with more respect than, for example, the pre-war art of Northern Europe, because the interest is fairly minor among the cultural elite. People are always fascinated by it in general, but there is always an elite who kind of dictates what should be shown and what is considered modern. And that's natural. You cannot have any opinions about that. But me as a painter, I don't care to be a little bit outside of what would be considered modernism today, because I am a modern painter. And I think that you should draw from the past, like I am doing, to have a continuation of history. And so now, when being here in Mexico, having discovered a second homeland culturally that I can relate to so much, I feel that my work today is justified more than ever. So this is the outcome of what has inspired me. I hope, of course, to be able to do more murals. My dream right now is to be able to do a big mural in Mexico dealing with the Mexican history. I have an idea of which I'm working on in my head right now, of the history of Mexico City. It's too great for me to take on the entire country. But a mural of the history of Mexico City up till today, making hundreds of portraits of people living in the city today and also of the past. I'm not sure how far I can take it, but this is an idea I'm working on. In Sweden right now, I'm about to start the sketches for a chapel, and this will also be in Trelleborg. So we'll see whenever I'm finished with that. It's a different work from the harbor, but it still carries the same treatment of the figure as you see in the Mexican muralists and the German expressionists.